You know, the phone market is just flooded with $1,000 flagships, but today we're going to focus on one device that's making some serious waves, the Google Pixel 9a. It really is the phone everyone seems to be talking about, and we're going to break down exactly why it's getting so much attention.
So check this out. The review we're digging into makes this really bold claim. I mean, in a world full of Pro and Ultra phones, the whole idea that a cheaper, mid-range phone could be all you actually need, that's pretty wild. So is it just hype, or is there something to this?
And that right there, that's the big question we're here to answer. We're going to look at where Google totally knocked it out of the park, and well, where they had to cut a few corners to keep that price down. So let's get right into it.
All right, first up, let's talk about the design. Because right out of the box, this thing apparently feels way more expensive than it actually is. And a huge part of that feeling comes down to one tiny but oh so welcome change.
Oh yeah, if you've ever owned a recent Pixel, you know the pain, that wobbly camera bar on your desk. Well, Google finally fixed it. This new flush design, it's so simple, so practical, and it just makes the phone so much better to use day to day.
Okay, let's talk about what it's made of. Google calls it a composite material, which is, a fancy way of saying it's really nice plastic. And hey, before you turn up your nose at plastic, the review actually argues this is a huge upgrade. Why? Simple. It doesn't shatter into a million pieces like the glass on those super expensive flagship phones. And this just proves the point perfectly. Get this, the reviewer dropped this phone 4 times onto concrete and tile, and there wasn't a single crack. It just goes to show you, sometimes the practical material is actually the more premium one, you know?
Of course, how it feels in your hand is just as important. And after years of phones just getting bigger and heavier, the Pixel 9a is supposedly super light. That makes it a breeze to use with one hand without feeling like you're about to drop a small brick.
Okay, let's move on to the screen. This is an area where mid-range phones usually have to compromise, but apparently not this one. We're talking a gorgeous 6.3-inch OLED display with that super smooth 120Hz refresh rate. But the real standout number here is 2,000 nits of peak brightness. What does that mean for you? It means you can actually see your screen clearly even in bright, direct sunlight. Finally. All right, let's get to the main event, because if there's one reason people buy a Pixel phone, it has always been the camera. And from what we're hearing, the 9a doesn't just compete with the big guys, it actually embarrasses phones to cost twice as much.
See, the secret sauce for the Pixel's camera isn't really the physical sensor, it's the software. Google's smart software, their computational photography, does all the heavy lifting in the background. It takes all the data from the sensor and processes it to make you look like a pro photographer automatically. And here's a perfect real-world example. The reviewer took this phone and a much more expensive iPhone 15 Pro into a dimly lit jazz bar. A total nightmare situation for any camera. And guess what? The Pixel consistently pumped out photos that were just more natural looking, with better colors and way less noise. That's that software magic at work.
But it's not just about the final image quality. You also get these unbelievably useful AI tricks. Take Best Take, for example. It's an absolute lifesaver for group photos. It lets you literally swap someone's face from a different shot in the same burst to fix that one person who always blinks or isn't smiling. It's a super practical tool that, and I'm quoting here, has saved family photo disaster. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about performance. So, the Pixel 9a has the very same Tensor G4 chip that's in its bigger, more expensive brother. And that's either really fantastic news or kind of a warning, depending entirely on what you do with your phone. This really breaks it down perfectly. For all your daily stuff, Instagram, Gmail, browsing, the Tensor G4 is blazing fast. It powers all the cool on-device AI and a face unlock that's apparently even quicker than an iPhone's. But, and this is a big but, if you're a hardcore gamer trying to play something demanding like Genshin Impact on the highest settings, you're probably going to notice some stutters. So it really just comes down to what's important to you. And speaking of that AI, let's talk about a feature that seems like a gimmick at first, but then becomes something you can't live without. It's called Circle to Search. You literally just circle anything on your screen. A cool pair of sneakers, a building in a photo, a weird plant, and Google instantly searches it. It's truly one of those features you don't think you need, and then you can't imagine how you lived without it.
And the best part? All that performance and all those AI smarts don't completely drain the battery. The review says they got through a full day of heavy use with about 20 to 25% left in the tank. If you're a lighter user, you might even squeeze 2 full days out of it. For a phone this size, that is fantastic.
So far this phone sounds pretty perfect, right?
Well, this is where we get to the whole clever compromise part of the equation. Because to sell it at this price, Google definitely had to cut some corners. And yet, some of them are kind of annoying.
And here they are. Let's just be brutally honest about the trade-offs. First off, no wireless charging in 2025. That's a tough one. The under-display fingerprint sensor can be a bit finicky. The speakers are, well, they're just okay. And yeah, that Tensor chip can get a little warm when you're really pushing it. These are the things you have to be willing to live with to get that amazing camera at this price.
So, let's put it all together. You've got the premium feel, that killer camera, pretty solid performance for most people, and then those annoying compromises. So who is this phone actually for?
Well, the review is actually super clear on this. If you're just an everyday user, someone who wants a great screen, incredible photos, and a phone that'll get software updates for years, then yeah, this is an absolute no-brainer. Go buy it. But if you're a power user, a serious gamer, or someone who creates a lot of content, you should probably wait. The reviews suggest you'd be better off looking at something like the iPhone SE4 or the OnePlus 12.
Which brings us to this one last really fascinating question. For most people out there, has the good enough phone, the one that nails the things that really matter like a great camera and a solid battery, has it finally become better than the $1,000 super phones? You know, looking at the Pixel 9a, the answer to that might just be yes.